Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe if you are enjoying what you are hearing. Now, on to today's story. STBXW of 23 years just tried to kill herself last night. The hits just keep on coming. I've been sitting in this for hours now. Didn't know where to post this, so this sub seemed appropriate. So, if you want a bit of backstory, check my post history for the details. I'm not keen on how linking to other subs here works, but my previous 2 entries are viewable in my profile. The quick version is this: I discovered my wife of 23 years, 45F, was having an affair with a 27 years/O co-worker. We have 2 sons, 22 and 17. I concocted a plan to completely upend her life centered around fooling her into thinking I was having an affair myself. I kept the rows going for over 4.5 months while compiling evidence of her infidelity as well as securing divorce papers and planning my exit strategy, slowly moving my personal belongings from our home to a new apartment, getting a new phone and number, separating my half of our shared income from our joint account, etc. On December 16, 2020, I gathered every bit of proof of her affair I'd compiled, printed it all out from start to that week, filed it all into 14 binders, packed 11 into gift-wrapped boxes and mailed them all out to the most important people in her life, as well as her HR department with an ETA between 12/22 to the 24th of December 2020. On Christmas Eve, while she slept, I took one of the remaining 3 binders and did the same, only this one I taped the divorce notice to the inside cover, and left it on my side of the bed, which mind you she'd had her lover in a number of times, along with my old phone and my lawyer's business card, and shadow ghosted her. Over the next 4 days her life completely imploded. Her family pretty much excommunicated her. Her friends, the ones who didn't know of the affair, ostracized, and my own mother took her to task, calling her the most scathing and vile things you could possibly think of. Her and her lover were also placed on administrative leave, and eventually fired. Last week we had our divorce hearing, and settled on a legal separation into uncontested divorce, with a few provisions in place for transitional income since she's now unemployed. I'm to pay out the price for the utilities, $653 a month, until either she finds gainful employment, or upwards to 1 year after the date of the divorce's finalization, which is expected to be 3 months from now. She keeps the house, her car and her half of the shared assets. I keep my half of the assets, my vehicles, car, motorcycle and boat, and my vacation property, cabin in the Poconos. After the hearing, we had one final exchange where she tried to explain away her infidelity and begged me to give her a second chance after the divorce was finalized. I of course said no, gave her some choice words and walked away from her forever. This brings us to last night. As only my closest friends, 2 sons, older sister and mother have my new contact info. And I've completely blocked my STBXW on all social outlets. She has had no means of reaching me since I left her Christmas Eve, but some of our mutual friends still do. Last night I'm hanging out in my apartment and I get a voice call notification on Messenger from one of said friends, one of the few who hadn't abandoned her following me outing her affair. She didn't waste any time when I answered, and said she had gone to check on Sue, the STBXW, and found her passed out in the bedroom, foaming out of the found with 2 bottles of empty pills next to her. She's in the ICU in critical, but stable condition. The doctors said that she will likely pull through, she's clearly not going to be well after. She begged and pleaded for me to come. Her parents and 2 of her sisters were also there at the hospital. My guess is they were notified after the hospital attempted to notify me, but Sue would still have my old hash as her emergency contact. I simply told her no. Sue's not my problem anymore, and she clearly decided she wanted to take the easy way out rather than deal with the shame and agony of the 23-year marriage she blew up. I then told her friend that if Sue's family were there, they can help her sort out the pieces, but as far as Sue and I are concerned, there is no Sue and I anymore. I then ended the call. I've had a few hours to sleep on it, and my sons called me this morning asking if I knew. I told them yes, but I also let both of them know that if they want to be there and supportive of their mother, I will not hold it against them or judge them for it. She is their mother after all. But I myself wash my hands of her, and care little to nothing about what she does for or to herself anymore. They were both a little taken back by this, but respected my stance. However, now that the news has broke about her suicide attempt, many of those friends who dropped her are all starting to surface again, and saying I need to be there for her. That even despite what she did to me, I need to support her in her time of need. I've also been informed that her AP tried to visit her this morning, but wasn't allowed because he's not family. I'm getting dog-piled on to go see her, but I feel nothing for this woman anymore. I haven't for a very long time. I checked out during the process of getting my payback for her betrayal, and I stand by the fact that I don't care at all for what she's done. In fact, it makes me hate her even more. She's the one who was unfaithful. She's the one who thought a near year-long fling with a guy 5 years older than her oldest son was worth destroying 23 years. And now that she has to face the consequences of her choices, she chooses the most selfish way of deal with. Even now, seeing as she's in all likelihood going to survive, she's cultivated immediate sympathy from everyone who took her to task, and I'm being made out to look like the jaded ex-husband unwilling to sympathize for her by most her family, not her dad. He's reached out to me over the last few hours and said he respects my decision to stay away. It's like I never even truly knew this woman. 23 ducking years, and it comes to this. Yes, I know the way I broke things off with her may have put her in a poor mental state. But now a whole new can of worms has been opened up because either she had a complete mental breakdown and decided to self-delete herself, or she made an extremely risky and calculated move to cull favor back from people who just weeks prior condemned her for betraying me. She cheated on me, and now she's the ducking victim. Sorry if this comes off as rantish, but I'm here trying to wrap my brain around this. I want to be perfectly clear, I am not going to visit Sue. She waived her right to me caring about her well-being the day she let Poz, my personal nickname for her lover, put his dick inside her. This might come off as heartless, because despite the cool, calm, collected way I've been throughout my ordeal, my feelings are still very much raw, but I don't give a duck about this woman. Haven't for a very long time. I'm aware I'm going to be vilified by a number of folk here. I don't much give a shit. Think of me however you want. If you were in my shoes you'd see her actions vastly different. Some of you folks are going to go look up my post history and see the story of what I did to her. And you're going to draw the conclusion that her suicide attempt was my fault. That me tormenting her for all of those months, fooling her into thinking I was cheating on her while she actively cheated on me, then destroying her socially and professionally as a result was the catalyst for her meltdown. Maybe it was. Maybe I am a heartless sociopath. But as Arthur Fleck so famously said, you get what you ducking deserve. I gave this woman half of my life, and did absolutely everything to be the best possible husband she could ever have. By her own admission, I had no bearing in her decision to step outside of our marriage. She did it for her. Her selfishness knows no bounds, and I am glad to be rid of her. If it makes me the bad guy because I will not go see her and never plan on interacting with her ever again, so be it. I hold true to my damn convictions. She made the choice to betray me. She made the choice to put her needs above the needs of our marriage. So now it's my turn to choose to me over everything else. She can rot in the darkest pit of hell for all I care. Let everyone else help her fix her. My obligation to ever care about her well-being ended the day we signed the separation agreement. I just needed to get this off of my chest. If you're going to cast judgment on me for feeling how I feel, save it. Like I said above, after 23 years and 2 children, I never really knew this woman after all. I have no sympathy for her, and I never will. Let her ducking rot. TL, doctor, fooled my STBXW into thinking I was cheating for 4 months while she was having a year-long affair with a younger man. Executed a plan to destroy her life during the process, culminating with ghosting her and serving her divorce papers as she slept over Christmas Eve. Watched her life upended over the next 4 days while completely off the grid from her. Divorce hearing was last week. Settled on full separation leading to uncontested divorce. Last night, she tried to kill herself by overdosing on pills. Now everyone within her circle who ostracized her for cheating on me is flocking to her for support, and are actually mad at for not doing the same. Seriously, FML. Quick update, I've been informed by Sue's dad that she's been moved from the ICU to the mental health wing. Doctors are still monitoring her mental state. She's conscious and cognitive again, but obviously lethargic. Her father told me she asked, "Did I come to see her?" and he said no, and she shut down after. He respectfully said any further news he'll share only if I inquire, because he understands the headspace I'm in. Also, I've scheduled counseling for 17. The first consultation is this coming Monday. Final update, aftermath of STBXW's suicide attempt. I'm writing this here as a form of therapy. A way to get my thoughts out in a pragmatic way. Today, against everything I said in my previous posts and comments, I went to go see Sue. She's been out of the hospital 4 days now, and believe it or not, it was Nina who convinced me I needed to see her. She said the only way I'd let go of the contempt I feel for her is to see her one last time, in her weakened state. So around 6 p.m, I called her for the first time since I served her. Her hello wasn't the bright and bubbly hello I'd know for over 2 decades. Her voice was hoarse and weak. The moment she heard my voice, she immediately began crying. Took almost 3 minutes for her to regain composure enough to talk again. Before she could say anything, I told her I was coming to see her by 8 p.m, and she agreed. It's about an hour and a half from Corp City, where my new apartment is, to my old home, so I grabbed a bite to eat from the local pizzeria, and started on my way there. I got there about 7:47 p.m, and she was already at the door before I pulled into the driveway. As I came near, I could see the toll her actions had taken on her. She was noticeably thinner. The unhealthy kind of thin. As a whole, she looked like the Walking Dead. First thing she does is try to come in for a hug, and I stop her cold. She got the hint that I wasn't there to console her, and backed off immediately. We go inside and sit in the living room. Almost immediately Sue tells me she wants to come clean about everything. She tells me she couldn't live with the guilt of what she did to me and the boys. From the day we signed the separation agreement, she went into a downward spiral of guilty and agony that led her to her suicide attempt. Her friend, the one that called me from the hospital, had noticed her behavior and started coming over to check in on her. She said the doctors told her had she not been found just an hour more, she would have succeeded. She admitted to failing me as a wife. That her falling for Pos was wrong, as was her choice not to pull back when she knew she was getting too deep. She also apologized for sharing the many intimate details of our marriage and speaking ill of me to him. That she never imagined herself being the kind of person who was capable of doing that, but she was. She said she believed in her head that she was doing the right thing, but ultimately when she thought I was cheating, it all hit her like a ton of bricks. The feeling of betrayal was suffocating, and she had to get out of there as soon as possible, but it was obviously too late by then. She then asked me at what point did I stop caring, to which I said the night she confronted me with the notion of me cheating with the fervor that did, knowing full well she'd been ducking Pos for months at that point. I lost all respect for her and it steeled my resolve to enact my plan. She told me that when she woke up Christmas morning and found the gift I left, she was over the moon, until she opened it. That when she realized what it was, and how much I had known, she literally went mad, and hasn't set foot in our bedroom since. She was frantically trying to find if anyone knew where I was, but when she went on FB to ask, she started getting thrashed by friends and family about what she had done, but had no idea how everyone knew so fast. That's when I told her about the other binders. The look of shock on her face was priceless. It all dawned her that I did this to her. Everything she's gone through, her friends turning on her, her family shaming her, and yes, even her losing her job, was my doing. She just fell silent and shut down after that. I took the time to go use the bathroom then, and it was in shambles. The mirror was broken, her skin care products were all over the place, and the tub looked like it hadn't been cleaned since they took her to the hospital. When I came back out to the living room, she has her face in her hands weeping, and I can honestly say I felt nothing. No more anger, no more rage, and absolutely not a shred of pity. They say the opposite of love is indifference. Looking at her, that's all I felt. She looks up at me and says I ducked everything up. I ruined us, and I have no idea what to do. I can't do this by myself. I tell her she's got her family, her friend who found her, and our sons. But she doesn't have me. She never will, ever again. I tell her I came to give her closure from the ordeal she just subjected herself to, but the moment I walk out that door, I'm never looking back. So the topic of POS comes up not long after. She tells me he reached out to her 2 days ago, they talked for a couple hours and it ended with her telling him he needs to move on with his life. Find a younger woman and forget she exists. The remainder of the convo was Sue apologizing for her betraying me and asking again, was this really the end? I look her dead in the eyes with no hesitation and say yes, it's been over long before I served the divorce notice on Christmas. I felt that was my cue to depart. No words were said, because what more could be said? I left her sitting on the couch, closed the door behind me, got in my car and drove home. It's 2:56 a.m. as I'm typing this. I needed to get this out while it's fresh in my head. This is it. The saga of Sue is done. 17 and I are both scheduled for counseling in the coming weeks. Nina and I are still going strong, and sticking to the plan of keeping things under wraps until my divorce is final. I'm staying active and motivated and looking forward to a future with a woman I know well cherish and honor me, because she's done so from the shadows for decades. It's time for me to focus on the life ahead of me, so this will probably be the last time I post for a while. Maybe I'll come back with an update when the divorce is official. To everyone who has sent me words of encouragement and well wishes, thank you. To all of those who praised me for my plan of revenge, I can honestly say I wish it never came to it, but if I had to go back and do it again I wouldn't change a single thing I did, aside from maybe doing more to POS than just getting him fired. And to the one guy who harassed me saying I deserved it because I raped my wife, you're ducking delusional and get ducked you tag nut. Hopping my green ass on outer here. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Have an awesome day or night. Wherever you are.